A brick-lined drain runs beneath Mohenjo-daro. Workers could inspect it. Nearby homes sent wastewater into this coordinated system. Yet, archaeologists have found no royal palace. These are the Indus cities with no kings we can find. How did they organize one of the Bronze Age's largest urban civilizations, and why did its great cities empty? The first answer is under the street. Sanitation was not confined to one ruler's compound. That contradiction is visible before a single, undeciphered sign enters the story. Thousands of households participated in carefully planned water and drainage systems about 4,500 years ago. That proves strong coordination. It does not prove a king ordered it or that no kings existed. Even the ordinary house therefore gives us both an answer and a warning. Coordinated public life was real, while its chain of command remains invisible. The mystery is sharper than either slogan. The Indus people left standards everywhere, but no ruler we can confidently name. Start with orientation. The Indus, or Harappan, civilization spread across parts of what are now Pakistan and northwest India. Its mature Harappan urban phase flourished from roughly 2600 to 1900 BCE. More than 1,000 settlements are known, from large centers such as Harappa and Mohenjo-daro to ports, towns, and villages across a territory larger than either ancient Egypt or Mesopotamia. Excavation brought this scale back into view in the 1920s. Sir John Marshall, then Director General of the Archaeological Survey of India, announced discoveries at Harappa and Mohenjo-daro that forced scholars to redraw the map of early urban life. Streets followed grids. Builders used baked brick extensively. Wells supplied neighborhoods and homes. Many bathing floors drained through walls into street channels, often covered by removable slabs. Here is what survives that correction. The system was sophisticated, but calling every fixture a modern flush toilet goes too far. Some houses had latrine arrangements, and water could carry waste into jars, sumps, or drains. There was no lever performing the exact modern act. What survives is still unusual. Household-level water management connected to maintainable public infrastructure. Somebody set rules, trained builders, and organized cleaning across generations. Now look for that somebody. Egypt gives us pyramids, royal names, and monumental portraits. Mesopotamia gives us palaces, king lists, and carved victories. At Indus sites, no excavated building is securely identified as a royal palace. There are no unmistakable royal tombs stuffed with a sovereign's wealth, and no giant ruler image announcing who commanded the city. Mohenjo-daro's most famous public structure is instead the Great Bath, a carefully waterproofed brick tank reached by steps. Bitumen helped seal it. Rooms surrounded it. It may have served ritual bathing, but its exact purpose is unknown. The contrast is revealing, but it is not a constitution. The city monumentalized a shared water space more clearly than it monumentalized an individual ruler. That absence opens several possibilities. Perhaps authority was collective, perhaps merchants, landholders, priests, clan leaders, or councils shared power. Perhaps rulers lived in buildings not yet found, used perishable materials, or expressed status in ways archaeologists have failed to recognize. No kings we can find is evidence. There were no kings would be a conclusion the evidence cannot carry. What, then, held distant communities together? Bricks provide one clue. Mature Harappan builders repeatedly favored a 1 to 2 to 4 proportion for brick thickness, width, and length. Cubical stone weights provide another. Across distant settlements, weights follow a tightly standardized system. Seals, craft styles, and shared measures linked trade from local workshops to routes reaching Mesopotamia. That leaves us with more than one kind of power. Standardization can be imposed by a central state, but it can also emerge through guilds, ritual authority, commercial trust, or widely accepted convention. A merchant needs another merchant's weight to mean the same thing. A mason benefits when familiar brick ratios travel. The artifacts reveal integration while withholding the institution behind it. One tiny sculpture shows how easily that silence tempts us. The bearded figure from Mohenjo-daro wears a patterned garment and has half-closed eyes. Early scholars called him the priest king. The name survives in museums and books, but there is no inscription identifying him, no known crown, and no secure evidence that he was either priest or king. The label may reveal more about modern expectations than Harappan government. War creates a similar trap. The cities have yielded fewer obvious military monuments and ostentatious weapons than many neighboring civilizations. They do not present rulers crushing captives. An old invasion story treated scattered skeletons at Mohenjo-daro as victims of a final massacre. Later reassessment, including work by biological anthropologist Kenneth Kennedy, found that the bodies did not represent one synchronized slaughter and offered little support for that dramatic ending. But the conclusion must remain bounded. Lack of victory monuments is not proof of perfect peace. Individuals experienced injury, communities could have fought, and defenses at some sites invite debate. What the evidence rejects is the simple movie ending: a single invading army sweeping through Mohenjo-daro and exterminating its population at the civilization's fall. The missing explanation might have been written down. Thousands of short Indus inscriptions survive, usually on seals and small objects. Their signs are real and patterned, but the script remains undeciphered. There is no accepted bilingual text, no Indus Rosetta Stone, and most inscriptions are very short. We can measure their drains and weights more easily than we can hear their political vocabulary. Now return to the second question. Around 1900 BCE, the great urban system transformed. Long-distance trade weakened. Standardized production declined. Major cities lost population, while settlement shifted toward smaller communities in other regions. This was de-urbanization over generations, not a citywide vanishing act in one night. Evidence from river landscapes and climate helps explain why. In 2012, geologist Liviu Giosin and colleagues reconstructed the region's fluvial history and argued that weakening monsoons altered the water systems on which settlements depended. Research associated with archaeologist Cameron Petrie also emphasizes a varied landscape. Communities relied on different combinations of winter and summer rainfall, rivers, and local farming strategies, rather than one uniform hydraulic machine. What follows is resilience with limits. A gradual monsoon decline around the broader 4.2 thousand-year climate event could reduce reliable floods and harvests, strain urban provisioning, and make smaller settlements attractive. Channels in the Gagar-Hakra region changed over long periods, but the old claim that one mighty glacier-fed river suddenly disappeared beneath every Indus city is too simple. Climate pressure interacted with trade, settlement choices, and local water conditions. So the people did not disappear. They reorganized. Families moved, farming patterns changed, and urban institutions lost their reach. Ancient DNA adds one careful glimpse. In 2019, researchers including Vasant Shinde and Vagesh Narasimhan reported genome-wide data from one woman buried at Rakhigarhi, the single successful genome among many difficult samples from that site. Her ancestry was related to a major component later found across South Asia, though one person cannot represent an entire civilization or identify its language and government. That brings us back to the drain beneath Mohenjo-daro. It proves maintenance, shared expectations, and public coordination. The empty space where we expect a palace does not prove an ancient democracy. It forces a better question. How many forms can organized power take before archaeology stops recognizing them? The Indus cities did not leave us a king's boast that solves the puzzle. They left brick ratios, calibrated weights, short unread signs, and drains designed to be opened when they clogged. Their system eventually loosened as water, trade, and settlement shifted. But the civilization's people endured, and the clearest surviving monument to whoever governed them may not be a throne at all. It may be infrastructure ordinary households could use.